are representing today, people. Representing. This is the House of L channel. This is the House of Hell episode. We're representing. This is all about the House of Hell today.
What's up, Kryptonians? Welcome back to another recap of yet another episode of Titans. This one is called Connor Kent, or Connor, I guess is what it's called. This is the episode that premiered on DC Universe last Friday, so if you have not seen that episode yet, I would recommend you go watch that episode, then come back to this video, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of shit in this episode. Superboy episode, so it's all about the necklace, it's all about the shirt, it's all about the ring, it's all about this. It's kind of funny because one of my friends asked me the other day, like, he just straight up came out of nowhere and asked me, he was like, do you ever get tired of being like the ultimate Superman fanboy? And I was just like, am I supposed to? Regardless, most of this episode takes place focusing on the origin of Connor Kent, and then the end of the episode ends up in the same place that we were at the end of last week's episode. If you watched my video for last week, you know that I totally called it. Like, I didn't actually call it. Like, it wasn't like 100%, oh, this is gonna happen, but I was just like, what if this happened? And then at the end of this episode, that's what happened. So, I don't know, just felt like patting myself on the back for that. If you guys remember the end of season 1, there was a little bit of a post-credit scene that showed Connor, showed Crypto. Crypto's eyes were glowing and everything, and that's how we knew we were gonna be getting Connor in season 2. This episode starts with him breaking out of his containment tube, and then a whole bunch of people are just dead, like just lying on the floor dead. He's naked, he's walking around, he's unsure of himself, he goes to free Crypto, and Crypto, again, eyes are glowing, so we're kind of like, okay, Crypto, Connor, this is gonna be the pair for most of the episode. I like the setup. He's walking around, he steals a security guard's uniform, he sees the name tag on it, says Connor, so he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm Connor. The name tag on you says Crypto, so I'm Connor, you're Crypto. Alright, let's get the hell out of here and figure out what the hell here is. He escapes this facility and he goes out, and him and Crypto are exploring things, and they're enjoying life the way that it's meant to be enjoyed, you know, stopping muggings, that whole thing. The funniest scene was when he goes to this person and he grabs a shirt, and for some reason he's drawn to the S symbol and he wants the shirt, and the guy's like, well, you don't have money, you can't have the shirt. But then later he stops a mugging. All innocent, he asks the woman if he can have her money. She's afraid of him because he just got done throwing some dude 20 feet with the flick of hhis wrist, so she's like, yeah, sure, you can have the money. So he stopped her from being robbed, but he also kinda sorta robbed her, is the way I'm looking at it. I mean, I don't think he meant to rob her. He's like, he has the mind of a 2-year-old. He doesn't really know. I thought that was kind of a funny setup to him getting his Superman, his classic iconic black Superman shirt, which you always see Connor in. Highlight of the episode actually for me isn't Connor, it's Mercy Graves. Mercy Graves comes in the next morning, or I don't know when she comes in. She comes in and she's talking to these scientists, she's talking to the other people. She's basically all business. I mean, she's cold-blooded, she's efficient, she gets the job done, she answers to Luthor, obviously. Obviously, the odds are is that she's an android or robot, but there's also the chance that she could be a real person in this universe. I mean, you never know. There are times where Mercy has been an actual person. So in that case, not only is she cold-blooded and she's efficient and she's all of these things that I like, but she's also somebody that I wouldn't mind taking out to dinner. I don't really give a damn where we eat. She's the one that's going to be on the menu. I'm just saying. Goddamn, woman. Either way, this scientist, I'm pretty sure her name is Eve, she's recruited to go with Mercy Graves' task force to try to hunt down Connor and bring him back. The objective is to bring him back alive, since she and the other scientists at Cadmus have been studying him for 6 years. We know that Lex Luthor and Superman's presence is going to loom heavy over this episode, because of course, if you know anything about Connor and his origin, they spell it out for you in the episode. He comes from both Superman and he comes from Lex Luthor, so of course you can't go through an episode not mentioning Lex Luthor and Superman. Luthor is on the phone talking with Mercy at some point in the episode. Connor makes the trip to Lionel Luthor's house because he keeps getting these memory fragments and he keeps thinking he remembers certain things. He generally remembers the address where the Luthors live, but he also kind of remembers where the Kents live. Unfortunately, in his mind, he processed the Luthors as the house that he was supposed to go to, so he went to the Luthor's house and he met Lionel Luthor there. First, everything's going okay. I mean, Lionel Luthor doesn't seem like that bad a guy. The scientists explained it to us at the beginning. They're like, okay, he's processing everything really fast. He's like a 2-year-old. He does a good job throughout the episode of walking that thin line between being innocent and not really knowing what he's doing, but also being a badass when he needs to be. Obviously, he has that anger issue because Connor always has anger issues. He somehow remembers things that he shouldn't remember, or he knows things that he shouldn't remember. He may not necessarily know the definition of a word like consequences, but he knows what nuclear fission is. And to be honest, that's good for him, because I don't even know what nuclear fission is. But he's talking with Luthor and things are going great, but then he starts to remember that Luthor beat his kid. He beat Luthor, and Lionel's describing Luthor as like, he was smart, he's brilliant, but he's also arrogant, he's very stubborn. There's no real justification for it, and that's why Connor starts to get angry. And then the people show up. Mercy Graves and her entire task force show up, try to take Connor in. It does not go well for them. This is where you see the full awesomeness of Superboy unleashed. I mean, he's tackling dudes through walls, he's punching dudes out of windows, he uses super breath, which was really freaking awesome to watch. So they throw this gas down on the floor. They're hoping it knocks him out. It doesn't knock him out. He inhales all of that smoke and then he blows it out in a huge gust of wind, knocks everybody in the room out. Also, because Krypto is such a good boy, he gets in on the action. He attacks one of the soldiers and then he uses his heat vision on a gun for one of the other soldiers. Point is, it was a great action sequence that showcased what Connor and Krypto could do. He walks outside and he stops the other scientists from escaping and he uses heat vision. He has the heat vision, and it's kind of funny because I was watching this with my friend. My friend was like, oh my god, he has heat vision. I didn't know he had heat vision. I think this is because everybody's so used to watching the Young Justice version of Connor, where Connor doesn't have the natural Kryptonian ability. He doesn't have heat vision, he doesn't have super breath, he can't fly, but he has superhuman strength and endurance and stamina and all that stuff, and he can jump really high, like he has superhuman leg muscles. I was just kind of like, well, yeah, he has heat vision. This isn't Young Justice, okay? Just relax a little bit. He and the doctor, the scientist, again, I think her name is Eve, they strike up a conversation. She decides to take him different places. She decides to go on the run from Cadmus. If you're somebody who knows who Cadmus is, and you know that that's the one place that you don't go on the run from. There's only one way. She had to know how this was going to end, right? It does kind of feel like a mother and son type of relationship because she's trying to teach him about the world. She's trying to teach him about certain things that he has to do. There's that one scene in the parking lot where he wants to go help this woman who's being abused by her boyfriend or something like that, and then she walks out of the diner and she's like, hey, no, you can't solve every problem with your fist. And she decided to take him back to the original Cadmus facility. That's where he saw the truth. He saw a whole bunch of different pods. He saw babies and weirdly formed fetuses. He saw a weird monster looking thing that was like a mixture of himself and then also maybe Superman and then also maybe Luthor. It's unclear. Mercy Graves and the rest of the task force show up to get them, and this is where Eve leaves some parting wisdom to Connor. Look, you have a chance to be good. You don't have to be bad. You can forge your own path. You have to keep running. Don't stick roots anywhere. Don't be a hero. Don't try to be a hero. She knows that she could die for helping him get this far. So he escapes and then she's there and she makes up some bullshit story. Honestly, I wouldn't have even made up a story. I mean, girl, they know you lying. Mercy Graves, of course, is very smart and she saw right through that. She was like, yeah, well, that's bullshit. But hey, Kryptonite Bullet, we're gonna see what he's made of. This is where it all comes full circle though, because Connor, he's walking around San Francisco. The base was in San Francisco. I can't remember if I mentioned that before. He's walking around San Francisco and then he sees the big explosion on the building and then he sees Jason, he's falling down and then he decides to jump into action and save him. Just like a certain somebody called okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop giving myself fellatio on camera. It's not that unique a thing to call out. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, again, pat myself on the back. He saves Jason, and it's really awesome seeing Jason meet him for the first time, but then, of course, tragedy strikes. He is shot with a kryptonite bullet. And Dick and Starfire and Jason are there to try to help him, but then Krypto! What the hell? Krypto gets taken away in a kryptonite collar or something like that. It was really shitty. I was just like, what the hell did Krypto do? Okay, can we leave Krypto alone? Krypto is such a good boy, okay? He is. He's such a good boy. Don't let anything happen to Krypto. If anything happens to Krypto, I'm gonna be pissed. Don't just get rid of Krypto because the budget says you have to or something like that, or you don't have a use for him. No. Krypto better be staying around in the show for a while, which I think he does because I think I saw him in still photos in the Titans Tower at some point in the promotion for the season. Guys, this was a really great episode. Great origin for Connor. Love Mercy Graves. Love the action in it. Love Lionel Luthor and that whole scene. It also begs the question, are we ever going to actually see Lex Luthor? Are we ever actually going to see Superman? I mean, hell, they cast Bruce Wayne in the show. I figure they'd cast Clark Kent at some point. Those are my thoughts on Connor, so tell me, what did you think about this episode? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.